On the Wake Up Radio presents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
Greetings, Black family, and welcome to On the Wake Up Radio. I am your host, DC Radical One, and you have entered the center. Shout out to our wonderful producer, Cindy Ashby. You can check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeartRadio at On the Wake Up Radio. But more important than that, you can check us out at onthewakeupradio.com, and you can check us out at otw2.com. That's otw2.com, where I do indeed have an account. Let's see who we have in the building thus far for this special edition. Of course, we got the brother you got ripped off in the building, BB48 brother. See, you made it back safe and sound. The ancestors be thanked for that. What up, Lord Bell? And the good brother Elijah, BB48 and Straight Black Pride brothers and sisters. And he said the convention was awesome. So, we'll wait to see if we get a few more people in here. A lot of people responded to the when I sent it via social media. So if the number of people who responded, sure up, we should have at least a good dozen people, which we do not currently have. For those who are here, especially those who attended or viewed the convention, what are your thoughts on the convention? And Lord Bell, you could have watched it. You could have watched the live stream. You didn't watch the live stream, brother. And you got ripped off. So you got 20 hours to go. 20 hours to get home. Oh my goodness. If that's the case, man, that's making me tired just thinking about it. But yeah, Lord Bell, you should be able to. I can't say for sure. Oh, okay, it's working. Understood. And the brother said, yes, indeed, 20 hours to get home. Man, well, may the good ancestors be with you, brother. Man, I'm tired already. Before brother Kevin Austin said he wish he was there. Yeah. If you go to, and I'm going to bring a part of that website in a minute to show what is available. So give me a second with that while I try to get this correct. Let's see. But in a minute, I'm going to bring up what is available via the website on, and I got a lot of stuff and close out, doing a lot of things today. What is available via the SBPMU website, and also what is available on the War on the Horizon website, which is also the Social Architects website. So you should be able to shortly, I don't know how long it takes to process and everything, watch the convention at sbpmu.com, and you have different prices for different points of access, which will allow you to watch different things. But of course, there's nothing, and I mean nothing, like being there in person. You have a different perspective when you're part of it, because in a lot of ways you're working. And so my perspective will be different from those who attend, as well as it'll be different from those who may attend one. Brother. We're gonna, in fact, we're gonna definitely do a recap of the Chopping It Up. You just reminded me. I was supposed to And I'll do that. I'll do that later. That's what I'll do later. I was supposed to actually bring up part of BB48 to a BB48 man. I believe I said BB48 brother Kevin. Um, I was supposed to put up part of a couple of the slides from the Chopping It Up, and I didn't remember till you just said it. So I'll do that probably about 9. So we can get out of here about 9:30. It's new, it's a new time slot for me, and I just want to see how it will work out. Maybe it's something I could do a couple of times during the week, just a live stream. The only other option I have is to actually do it during the day when most of y'all will be at work. Those of you who have office jobs or whatever, it's cool. You can just listen at your computer with your headphones on, not without, um, or in fact, now I thought about on your phone or whatever the case may be. So that's a thought. So the convention, man, was it was extremely powerful, and we had 4 brothers, 3 guests, and brother Genie that really brought some fantastic information. And one thing it reminds me of is that the power and the energy of black people collect what's the word I'm looking for? But black people come together in the physical, come together collectively in person to exchange energy, to recognize each other, to show each other love and respect, and to be on one accord. When you get like-minded people together, man, the energy is always incredible. And so we didn't, things didn't turn out exactly the way we planned, as far as with the different brothers coming from out of town. Initially, we were going to have Brother Mike Graves first, Baba Olatunji second. The way it turned out, Baba Olatunji arrived first, and so we allowed him to speak first. And man, the information that Baba Olatunji put together was fantastic. It's possible that I may do a chopping it up session on his book. However, the next chopping it up session will be about the COVID-19 book, and you can purchase that at um, on OneHorizon.com. And Lord Bell said, "Will you be able to watch the convention?" I I believe the way it works is if you can get access for a certain amount of time, and whatever is uploaded on the site you can watch within that span of time. So the convention should be up there shortly. The chopping it up should be up there as well. And the chopping it up happened last night, so that's fresher in my mind. The convention happened on Saturday. And in fact, let me show the book from the website. So that's the book, The Truth About COVID-19. That's the book we'll be working on. And I'll be giving a maybe 1 hour presentation on that. I'm not sure right now because I'm still working on it. I'm at the very beginning of working on it. And so as the weeks go by, I have a better idea how long it's going to be. But it'll be no more. The presentation itself will be no more than an hour and a half. The chopping it ups, I like to start around 6:30. The doors open at 6, but I like to start about 6:30 and give people a chance to come from work and things like that. And because since the presentations themselves are only going to be between an hour and a half, that gives between 8 and 9 for the discussion. And the discussion aspect of it is what makes it different. The we shorten the length of time for what I would normally do as a lecture. So there's no breaks or anything like that. It's just like the hour, 15 minutes, whatever, of the presentation, and then 45 minutes of discussion. That's the chopping it up format, where the lecture format, when I do them, it's like an hour, a break, an hour, roughly the ending, and then maybe some Q&A after that, and then we out. So that's the basic difference. You get more. It's more interactive with the Chopping It Up sessions. So yeah, the truth about COVID book so far has verified some things that I thought when things initially happened, but I had no way to prove. And so it's so far it's an excellent book. And so you can get it here. Like I said, you can go to warrenhorizon.com, which will take you to the Social Architects website, and go to the book section. And you can get Brother Genie's book, Warren Horizon. You can get that. You see everything that you have up here: Medical Apartheid, Destruction of Black Civilization, Irritating Genie, by Jacob Carruthers, ISIS Papers, Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, and Miseducation of the Negro, and The Psychopathic Racial Personality, and other essays. And The Secret Relationship is volume 2, by the way, just to clarify that. Also, I was talking to Brother Genie, and there's something else you can get on here. Let me see if I can bring that up. That I didn't know until literally, like literally today. And that is, bam. Here we go. You can go to the same website and get the t-shirts. People always ask, oh man, where can we get the Straight Black Pride t-shirts? Can we get the Straight Black Pride t-shirts online? You can get the Straight Black Pride t-shirts online, in various colors. Black Families Matter, excuse me. Black Liberation Movement t-shirts. And then the newest one that I hadn't seen, No Thy Enemy t-shirts. So you see me walking around rocking that one, you already know where I got it from. So those are available on the Warren Horizon website. So let's go ahead and get into it, because 15 minutes in, everybody that's here is apparently going to be here. So like I was saying, man, Baba Olatunji came first, and he brought his book dealing with the LGBTQIA LMNOP agenda, and man, dropped some really profound information. He broke down the meaning of and the origin of the term heterosexual, which is a term which is crazy because it's a term that's made up by homosexual. And he broke that down, and that was profound. And he brought a lot of information. He's really talking about the importance of understanding the etymology, the root of words, and the meaning of words, and the origin of words, and showing how they use word manipulation to confuse us. Brother Rip, you got ripped off, says, he says the Francis Cress Welsing lecture. The Francis Cress Welsing, you mean the God is Black Woman lecture? That is, you know what? Jenny recorded that. So I don't know. He's, he said he was going to try to find it. He never gave me an answer. So that one may be lost to history. Had to do it again sometime. What I would really, really like to do is especially do that one. I think that one travels well. And the Dr. Khaled one in another city. I really would like to do the Dr. Khaled one in New York, but that ain't gonna happen now that they passed their laws. So, but yeah, so hopefully Jeannie finds that. I try to remind him again, because I already know that he's already forgotten, and so we'll try to do that. I just realized, even though I got my banner down here, I do not have the proper logo for the show. And bam, that's correct. So yeah, Baba Olatunji was first, and that was outstanding. And one thing Jenny did, man, that was I didn't know he was gonna do. He had these little lockets made up for each presenter, and he gave each presenter um, an ancestor. And I believe Baba Olatunji's was Dr. John Henry Clark. And then after he spoke, man, like I said, man, his information was really incredible. Um, just really outstanding work. And I've known it's so funny, man. I've known Baba for years because years ago I used to see him at PKV events. He used to be out of Baltimore. Now he's up in Philly, and I just used to see him. We would talk or whatever, and I never really um I didn't know he wrote books and things like that. And so you would see him up there and really dropping it. It was like, man, I sat up here and talked to this brother, just like a regular brother and whatnot. And he up here holding all this knowledge or whatever. So it was interesting, seeing him in that capacity without, like, I knew he was an elder. I knew he had knowledge, but seeing him teach without knowing that he actually taught is, that was, that was interesting. Let me say. So after he spoke, then brother Mike Graves, and brother Mike Graves is interestingly enough, man, he's former law enforcement, but he worked with Dr. Khaled, was trained by Dr. Khaled, and he just dealt with a lot of situations up in New York with racism, white supremacy, getting brothers on the police force to do race work, which is, that's profound because, when you think of the police, all we think of is an enemy because that's what they've been for the most part. And so, man, that brother, man, he's just a strong warrior. And he talked about situations that he dealt with. With there was a case up in New York with a brother whose son was at a party. He was hanging out with some Yoruba, right? And got into a situation, and these Euros, tried to invade the family's property, and some things went down. That's all I can say about that. And so, they said what that situation was. The brothers came out, they organized, to protect the family and things like that. And he just gave that whole situation, that history, so you could really see, how they work. Because it was a serious situation where something could have taken place. Let's just put it that way. I'm speaking, not speaking freely, like, because the internet. But y'all understand, y'all those were there get the point. Those who weren't there, you get the point as well. Especially since it's mostly brothers in here. Lord Bell says definitely getting the shirt. Hey, I'm getting the the enemy without question. So I didn't know. Brother G was like, nah, you can only get that online. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So um, then Brother Genie gave Mike Graves a Martin Delaney locket, and he said Martin Delaney was his man. During his time here, he was the blackest man in America. And so that, I mean, the brother was just, you could tell each brother was really floored by receiving the gift. And then I'm trying to think, did this? Yeah. So then this part was funny. I'm sitting there, we're waiting for I think we were waiting for brother Darren, but I believe brother Darren Muhammad, but I believe brother Janie went on next. Now, Lord, I mean, you got ripped off. Correct me if I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, just let me know and be like, nah, that's not what happened, bro. Because I'm trying to remember the order. but I think Brother Jenny was next, and he spoke about, of course, about the uh, the vaccine situation, which I don't know if everybody saw the, I believe the Pfizer vaccine, again, correct me if I'm wrong, was just approved by the FDA. So the emergency use exemption has been upgraded to full approval despite the lack of normal protocols to approve a vaccine. And I will be doing a video on that, as well as and it may be one video, maybe two. Of course, the Reverend Jesse Jackson and his wife both are in the hospital with COVID. She was not vaccinated, and of course, he was, and he was vaccinated on TV. So I found that story interesting in the fact that one's vaccinated, one wasn't, and yet they're both sick and both in the hospital. And the last reports I read kind of made it seem like he was worse off than she was. So, I mean, it's one of those things. We all gonna have to make a choice. And I also saw today um, that they're gonna mandate it for servicemen, active duty servicemen, and I believe reserves. So if you're in the military, you getting the shot whether you like it or not. Let's see. You got ripped off. Say Darren came up at the last segment before Jeannie went on. Okay, right. So yeah, brother Darren came on, and if you ever heard brother Darren Muhammad, brother got an incredible amount of knowledge, and he dropped knowledge about COVID and a lot of other things. And the locket he got was Steve Coakley locket, what I think is most appropriate, because as far as like in-depth information and naming names and knowing who people are and knowing their history and things like that. And I don't know anybody who's more in-depth than him. But something funny happened. Um, I believe it might have been before Brother Darren, actually. But anyway, while I was sitting in the back minding my business, um, somewhat not paying attention, being completely honest, because sometimes when I go to different spots. You ever been to a straight black pride event? You see me walking around. Usually I'm checking on stuff. I'm checking on, you know, everything. Just to make sure things are working well. Talking to our people that are working. We got brothers on security. We got, you know, other people who are doing stuff, making sure things work. Talking to the people in the venue, making sure, things is good as far, checking to see, you know, when when make sure it's gonna be enough food, when the food line is gonna close and all that stuff, because we hold those events in the restaurant, all those types of things, right? But this is one of the times I actually wasn't really doing that. I had done that. I was sitting down, was kind of relaxing, and then brother Jenny started talking, and he started talking about, man, this brother does this and that, and so forth, so on, and man, blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, wow, that brother's really outstanding. Man, he's doing good work. Man, hopefully, man, I can meet that brother. And I look up, right? Because I was looking at my phone. I look up, and the sister looking at me. One of the sisters in the organization is looking at me in the face, and she's like, she mouths like, he talking about you. So, so now I'm actually listening, because before I was only half listening. Now I'm completely listening, because I'm like, what are you talking about, right? And so now when I started listening, I was like, oh wow, yeah, okay, yeah, he's talking about me. I was like, all right, this is crazy. So what they about to do? So little do I know, and when I say little do I know, I mean I didn't know at all. Um, brother Danny, he finished giving his spiel and so forth, so on. I come up to the stage, and they gave me an award. And they get, and what y'all have to understand is, when generally speaking, when we do these things, I'm one of the people who arranges for them to happen, right? Hey, in fact, I think I'm actually the one that came up with the annual award, straight awards that we give at a Straight Black Pride convention. To be completely honest, so I think this was my idea. And last year we gave it to two sisters, that really couldn't do anything without. Gave Brother Genie an award, and so you know they conspired behind my back. You know what I'm saying? To give me the John Henry Clark Award, which is a form of an Ashanti stew, which I was first of all, I was completely surprised. Like just I just wasn't expecting it at all. I was humbled by the honor. You still am. Just the fact this name John Henry Clark Award was, and then I know what's weird is that, as far as I know, no one in the organization actually just took pictures. Like normally, when I go to the back, a lot of times I'll take pictures, but no one took pictures. And it's so funny. It's hilarious because I watched this sister walk around with this big giant box, and I kept thinking to myself, "What's in this box?" And she would take it from place to place, and like anytime I got close to the box, she would move the box, and it never occurred to me. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, "What's?" I was just looking at her like, "What's in the box?" I'm thinking it's something for, some decorations left over for, or I don't know what I was thinking about. Peace to Sister Tila Nubia, and greetings to almost soon 18. So yeah, I had no clue. And like I said, she was walking around with that box. I was like, and I did ask her, I was like, "What's in the box?" She's like, "All my stuff." I was like, "Oh, okay." And so yeah, so they gave me that award. It's in the form of an Ashanti stew. It's beautifully handcrafted. I know exactly where they got it from because last year's event, I was the one that ordered it for the winners last year. And man, I'm just grateful because when you do the work, being completely honest, people who do the work and like make this their life aren't the people that get recognized when they're alive. You just you talk about them after the fact. And I said during the event, you know, give people their roses while they're here. I don't ever remember, and it's possible it happened and I just wasn't there or whatever. But I don't ever remember Dr. Collett receiving an award while he was here. And we have to not, we have to not assume that people just going to be here, especially people that's doing work, because it's you never know when the Europeans are going to be like, you know what, I'm tired of this dude or this woman. In fact, uh, I believe I said peace to Tila Nubia. If not, peace to you. And she said, yes, it was a nice event, and I enjoyed all the speakers indeed. And Sister Shaniqua was laughing, talking about I was being nosy. Of course I was. It's my job. It's my job to make sure everything is working and in place. So yeah, of course I was being nosy. It's my job, make sure everything is working well. And Sister says the gifts were very thoughtful. Yeah, they were. Now, I had no clue on any of that. Yeah, all the gifts were outstanding, and they fit everyone very well. So yeah, that they did an excellent job, Brother Jeannie and the sister and whoever was involved. They did excellent jobs with that. So yeah, so then I believe I got my award before Brother Darren came on, and Brother Darren is really an electric speaker. And what's so interesting about him is, man, he has this vast amount of information that he can just reel off the top of his head about a vast array of stuff, right? And just go, and it's you just go up there and make the 45 minutes or an hour, however long it was, just make that just go quickly, just whoosh. And then Jeannie spoke, like I said, he spoke about the whole vaccine situation and put some information up. And I believe Baba actually, he didn't put the information up, but he gave some information about the basically the companies being exempt from any type of possible legal action and things like that. And I looked that up and posted that on my Instagram. And, it is what it is. It's documented. Like this other brother on YouTube says, documentation beats conversation. Straight Black Pride to War Report. It was good to see you there as well, brother. Sister Tila Nubi, were you there live? Because if so, did we meet? And you're gonna tell me who you are, and I'm gonna be like, oh. But yeah, so I thought the whole event was outstanding. And then the next day, I know the brothers went out with the flyers and everything. Brother, you got ripped off. You went, right? Because I did not, because I was working on the Chopping It Up. And since I was working on the Chopping It Up, I did not go. I was still preparing that because I like to rehearse stuff multiple times. And was so, even though I rehearsed the stuff multiple times, when you get up there, you're in a different place and everything is different. And so you're going to do it differently anyway. Like literally, if I recorded the thing 10 times, it would come out looking different 10 different ways. So, but okay, you weren't there, but you met me previously. Okay, cool. And War Report says Return of the Black Man was on fire, and congratulations. Thank you, brother. Said their war was well deserved. Hey, man, we really, man, we're just trying to follow in the footsteps of giants. You know what I'm saying? And, anything we can do to advance, liberation and empowerment, man, and bring about global African dominion. That's what we do. Okay, we met at the 5th annual. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, y'all was on Benning Road. Okay, and C Street. Okay, cool. Okay, we finally hit up DC. Been knocking it out in PG County. So yeah, and so with that on Sunday, and most of y'all seen the video I put up, brother Jenny spreading the flyers. Yeah, the brothers went out and did that. And you got ripped off. I knew he was going. And how many you got ripped off? How many brothers was it? Because it should be about well over a dozen if the usual brothers came out. But I'm not sure how many came out. But War Report, War Report, making me laugh. Talking about first time we met, and I was sizing them up. Hey, brother. Hey, look. You never know who the enemy gonna send. Let's put it that way. You know what I'm saying? You never know who the enemy's gonna send. But it's good that I know brother you got ripped off enjoyed himself immensely, and he had his beautiful family with him, and hopefully the whole family had a good time. And the brother came back out on Monday after going out with the brothers on Sunday. So he had a full weekend. So how he's still awake is beyond me, to be completely honest, because he was there for the entire convention on Saturday. He went out and did some community work on Sunday, and then came back out on Monday. Say about a dozen. Okay, all right, cool. So yeah, like I was saying, then came back out on Monday for the Chopping It Up session. And while I'm talking, I'm gonna see if I can bring up just one or two, because I filmed. Now this time I independently filmed the Chopping It Up session myself to avoid a similar situation to what happened with the Goddess Black Woman lecture. Because what's weird is I've done a Goddess Black Woman lecture twice. I have, out of those 2 times, I have the first half recorded of the first one. So I don't have the second half recorded of the first one, and none of the last edition that I have. So I don't even have, out of those 2 times, I don't even have enough to compile one lecture to get enough footage to splice them together to compile one lecture. So if I can do that in another city, like I don't know, maybe Atlanta, maybe Baltimore, maybe maybe Baltimore. Um, if I get talk to brother, maybe I talk to brother Darren or something. See if I can do that in Baltimore. I'll do that again. I think that lecture, I think that touches sisters, and I think the information is valuable. But as far as the chopping it up, brother Genie really liked it. I thought, I thought it was an excellent discussion. It was so, it was interesting because not a lot of people came out, but a lot of people seemed to be affected by what they heard. And so I was just glad to be able to. There was one sister that was really affected. She had really been through some things, and she was touched. And brother, you got ripped off. And let me know. I believe that was your queen that was hugging the sister. I'm not privy to what they were discussing, but she showed me that she appreciated the information. I just put it that way. So she gave me a nice donation and a word of encouragement right before I left. And I gave her a word of encouragement as well. And one thing it made me realize as I try to bring this up and see how this is going to be done is that a lot of our people um, really need healing and they've been through a lot of things and um, they don't have outlets or places that they can go to express themselves and to hear this information that I believe is life giving and life altering information. And it's just that we haven't found a way to maximize um, the ability for more of our people to receive it, right? A lot people are distracted by a lot of things. I just found it. I found it so interesting this weekend that you know, I wasn't really on social media because I was getting ready for my presentation and the convention, and so I wasn't really on it like that. And the next time I'm on there, there's like some milk cart thing happening just out of nowhere, and I'm like, what in the world? You know what I'm saying? I see all these black people on milk cartons, and it's like it came out of nowhere, and I'm like, we're easily distracted. Like you did, I don't know who came up with this stuff, what is going on, why people are doing it, and I'm just like, this is like we love goofiness, man, and it's disappointing. Let's put it like that. You got ripped off. Says they discussed the sister's endeavors with the police department. Yeah, yeah. From what she said, and just a little bit of what she said, what she shared with us. Um, she's scarred. She's scarred by that experience. Let's put it like that. And Sister Tila says it was a nice event and good information provided as well. I learned some things I didn't know, which is always my goal. Whenever I speak, that's my goal. And she said, "Yes, we need more institutions to hold in-person gatherings." Yeah, I mean, because one of the things that they're using this whole COVID for is to divide the people and keep people from being able to speak to each other and being around each other and just building those bonds. You know what I'm saying? Those social bonds have been broken for a lot of people. I have people in my family I haven't seen because I'm not vaccinated. They are scared to death of this whole situation because we had a lot of death in our family on both sides of my family lately, but not COVID related, but just just people just passing away in a short span of time, and just I mean, for those that know me, y'all, I think I spoke about it the end of last year. I spoke about Some things I probably spoke about, and some things I didn't. But yeah, it's just as far as that goes, 2020 was a rough year. 2020 was a rough year in a lot of ways. But everybody was having a rough year, so it's like, no need for me to talk about that. And War Report says you present the facts as they are. It blows me away how much I don't know. Hey, brother, you'd be surprised. It blows me away how much I don't know. Because sometimes I get to researching this stuff, and I'm like, I don't even. And I see stuff, I'll be like, this was so funny. I literally have books that I have either not read or I've read parts of the book, and then I'll go into those books and for the research for a presentation, and I'll sit there and I'll be like, man, I've had this book for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I've had this book for 10 years, man. I never knew this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so in a way, it's funny, being completely honest. The way it's just like, man, this thing's just sitting here waiting for me. And I'm sitting here with it and just don't have a clue of what's going on. So, that's just one of those things. It's just like, it's kind of funny, really, that you have the tools to just right in your hand, and you just don't use them until But I guess in a way, use them when you need them. The book came in handy. I broke it out um, weeks ago. Looked through it. Looked through some other books because the presentation for those who saw the Chopping It Up, what you saw was not what I originally started with. And I just scrapped the whole thing, which is, I'm trying to think what else I did like that. When I did the Memorandum 46, that was the same thing. What y'all end up getting was completely different from what I started with. I mean, completely. I scrapped the entire presentation and started from scratch. And because I actually had to research, because what I was going to do didn't include actually researching its origin, right? And so I had to go back and go through all that. And so for this one, it was just getting long and it was meandering and it wasn't relevant, and it was going over territory that we've been over with, Nat Turner and things like that, and the Haitian Revolution. I was like, you know what? Let me start over. Literally, it's just like, let me start over. And so that's what I did. I started over, and then I came back, and then what you saw yesterday, for those who saw it, that's what I came up with. And Brother War Report says Memorandum 46 is very sober and it's happening before our eyes. Yeah. That it's so funny you said that, because, and I don't know if the person is in here, but a brother, in regards to the Memorandum 46, a brother asked me today that I don't think I've interacted with on social media, but he was like, man, what's going on with all of these we not African, we Indian people and movements and stuff popping up? And I was, at first I was going to just say Memorandum 46, but I gave him my answer. But yeah, anytime I see this stuff that tries to separate Black people globally, all I think is Memorandum 46. That's all I think. And it's so interesting that I had a piece about the 72 Black National Convention in that, and now there's a documentary coming up that features the 1972 Black National Convention. I'm not sure where or even when it'll be available. I just saw an advertisement for it, and I just kind of laughed. I'm like, and I talked about this last year, and now all of a sudden it's relevant. So, I mean, not saying they got it from me. I'm just saying it's interesting that other people apparently, and they probably, I guess they were working on it at the same time I was working on this, because initially I was supposed to do the memorandum 46 in I think April of 2020. And then of course, like I say, tell people the world was put on pause. And so that went, as my grandmother liked to say, the way of the dodo bird. So you know, but I think it turned out well the way it ended up happening. And so that was just one of those things that, and in fact, no, it definitely turned out well. Let me correct myself, because I would not, what I came up with would not have been the same. It have been, it would have been totally different. That extra time allowed me to take and reformat and research some things and go in a different direction than what I was going. I was completely doing something different before that. Um, and the brother says to get into it with the FBA Aboriginal blacks all the time. Now, are they the same crew? Because I thought they was two different people. But is that the same? Are they the same folks? Because if they the same folks, man, that stuff will make you tired. I don't even argue with people anymore. I just present what I present on social media, and if you with it, cool. If you're not, that's cool as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to argue or debate with you about anything. I'm just not, I'm just not going to do it. Not at all. So I mean, it is what it is. If you're like, hey man, we not this and that and blah blah blah. All right, cool, bro. You know, because and I was telling brother, from what I have seen, all right, and somebody can correct me when if I'm wrong. From what I have seen, the person who made that popular, the first black person I saw talking that stuff was uh Dwight York. You know what I'm saying? AKA Dr. York, the guy who eventually was arrested for ridiculous number of counts of child sexual abuse, right? So if you're gonna tell me that you know, y'all know what I'm saying. If you are telling me about stuff that comes from that guy, yeah, that's all I can say is, yeah, okay. That's all I can say. I got nothing else to say, you know. But it looks like I'm not gonna be able to share this. Unfortunately, I can't do what I wanted to do. It's not gonna work. So yeah, it is what it is. But what I will do is, oh, you know what? Y'all tell me if y'all want me to do a video on poor light. I wasn't, but I will, because I feel like I said what I needed to say with that. However, I kind of feel like it needs to be addressed. I'll let y'all tell me, because it seemed like everybody talked about it, but everybody kind of talked about it in kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of a gossipy way, without really addressing the issues or the issue at hand. And then another thing with that, and I'll be brief with this. I had no idea that people were still considering him conscious when he started off with four black wives. I always thought that was I always thought that was that was what's the word I'm looking for, like a publicity stunt, something to get his name up. You know what I'm saying? You see this brother, you got four beautiful black women, uh, and so when I first saw him, but in fact, the first time I saw him actually was online with this new covenant situation, and I was trying. I didn't know who he was, and I didn't know who they were. I thought they was might be connected with the Nubians or whatever. So I was like, whatever. But I just never. It's the word I'm looking for. I just never took the guy seriously. I just never thought he was serious, and it is what it is. And brother, you got ripped off. Said do a bit after more facts come out. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Because everybody jumped on it, and everybody will be finished with it soon. And War Report says, "How much would a request video?" What do you mean, how much? Nah, I'm saying a basic video that I'm putting on YouTube. Just either drop it in my email or drop it on my Instagram DM. Be like, hey, talk about this. I mean, for y'all, the people that really support me, that's nothing because y'all give me ideas anyway. I mean, people give me ideas all the time. They don't know it. They be like, "Have you seen this? Have you seen that?" And I'll be like, "No," which means if I haven't seen it, other people haven't seen it. Like when I did that video about the brother, which now is not even. We seeing these cases all the time. In fact, I'm gonna do a video about it. But the brother that was 36 that had the breakthrough case and died, breakthrough case of COVID that died. Um, yeah, you know, somebody sent me that information, and I was like, I checked it out, and I was like, yeah, I got to talk about this. I got to do a video, and what I'm gonna try to do is contact somebody close to the situation. Uh, they're trying to kill brother, brother Ozone, brother Othel Wallace in I can't remember if he's in Georgia, Florida, wherever he's at. They're trying to kill that brother right now in jail. They just posted something saying claiming that he was on suicide watch and he's on 48-hour lockdown. I hadn't even heard of that. I heard 24-hour lockdown where you get 1 day out. I mean 1 day, excuse me, 1 hour out yourself. That brother is on 48-hour lockdown. I just saw that information today. So what I want to do really is an interview with somebody close to him, wife, mother, somebody, and get some information about that and get that information out. They're trying to kill that brother because if you don't know, uh, from my understanding, the officer that was shot died from his injuries, and they upped the brother's charges to a murder charge, and ever since then they've been putting him in lockdown, and they basically probably trying to torture the brother the way they did the Panthers back in the day. If you ever read Huey P. Newton's book, I can't remember which one it was, but he talked about it was like being in the hole in that whole situation, how he had to discipline himself, limit his eating and limit his drinking and things like that. Basically, fast and just focus to keep his mind um, together and his mind intact because of the situation and how they were trying to destroy him psychologically as well as physically. And unfortunately, from the information I'm receiving, brother O is enduring a similar type of supposedly illegal treatment while he is incarcerated. And understand, he has not been convicted of anything. His case has not been adjudicated yet. So it seems like they're trying to, because they've seen that people are trying to support, they have raised a decent amount of money, but the charges have been upped. So the lawyers involved are apparently asking for more money to get started, and so that situation is very dire, and that's something I definitely want to get with somebody who's close to it about, in order to see if I just help spread the word. See, whatever I can do, because I look at the brother very similarly, and a lot of people may not think about it this way, but I look at it, his case very similarly to Huey P. Newton's case, where the police are pretty much harassing him for no reason. Something happens, police officer, um, walks into a bullet, some type of way, and then they basically try to kill the brother before adjudicating his case. So it really is, to me, a modern day Huey P. Newton case, and I don't have my phone with me because I wish I could find my phone. If I had my phone with me, I would let y'all know where, which Instagram account you could follow to get information about that. I know his mother has made an account, and I believe is there's a we stand with ozone and I stand with ozone, which is two different accounts. I believe that is the one, and you can get information about his case. But his case is very important, um, and it's something we need to come together to see what we can do, really, to save this brother's life. To be honest, he was minding his business. He was getting ready to go to work. Cop walks up on him. Whatever happens, happens, and here we are. And to be completely honest, for the brothers that's in here, it could be any of us. That situation could have been any of us. Anytime we walk out of our house, the cop could walk up on us for no reason whatsoever, start harassing us, and we suffer some physical damage. So that is something to look out for. Like I said, I'm gonna try to contact somebody and do an interview with so we can have the latest information about that. I think that's very important. Outside of what I've seen a little bit on social media, I don't see anybody really talking about it, but they have been able to raise a good amount of money. So possibly more people, or not possibly, obviously, excuse me, more people are hearing about it than it appears, and more people are standing with him. And more people, he needs all the help he can get with that situation. Because the minute that I heard the officer had passed away, I was like, oh no, they are not going to let this go freely. So anyway, back to the chopping it up. Actually, this goes in line. Y'all give me a second here. I try to. Sister Shaniqua says that's first. This is your first time hearing about the situation. Yeah, you. I follow both of those accounts on Instagram. You can see it on Instagram. But getting back to the chopping it up session. So the chopping it up was at 6:30, and so I came out there about 5, set up, get my equipment together, my cameras and sound and all that stuff, sound checks, things like that. Y'all know how it goes. And the title of the presentation is "We Exist Because We Have Resisted," right? And Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad always had a saying. He says, "We must resist to exist," right? So this was kind of a take on that, where I look back at our history, and it's like, oh, okay, you know what? Not only must we resist to exist, but we literally exist because we have resisted. And our resistance is the reason why you can look at Black people and see that there are Black people in America. It's the reason why, even though we've been under constant assault, our numbers continue to grow, though obviously not as much as they should. And the reason why we're still considered a threat to both the people in power and the Europeans who aren't in power but just don't like Black people. It's the reason why we've been able to make any advancement that we made, to get any right that we have, to any economic gain we made, like any form of advancement whatsoever, has been because we've resisted. And so I had made a quote at the beginning of the lecture, and the quote was simply, "Every ounce of freedom that Black people have gained anywhere on earth over the last 500 years was gained because we fought our enemies. Anything that was gained by any other means turned out to be a trick that harmed us more than it helped us." Now, there'll be people who disagree with that, but if you actually do the research and do the history, it's just readily apparent. It's readily apparent. It's readily apparent. Oh man, because what happened is that we've been told for years that we didn't resist. You know what I'm saying? And I remember in high school, the history teacher talking, and I remember two distinct things. One, I remember him talking about world history because it was like a world history. Like one semester was world history, one semester was U.S. history, right? I remember the world history. You broke out the map, you know what I'm saying, and just started talking about the whole Mesopotamia thing. I don't know if they still teach it this way now, because obviously, if you want to know how old I am, I was in high school last century. All right, there you go. You know what I'm saying? That's when I was in high school. So they may be teaching differently now. I don't know, but they were teaching the world history, and they were talking about Mesopotamia, and he barely touched. In fact, this ancient world history. In fact, he barely touched um, Egypt. And they were calling it Egypt, not Kemet. And then there's on the Rome and Greece. And I just remember feeling like, yo, I ain't got no history. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, I was just sitting there like, so I ain't got no history. That I couldn't say it because I didn't have any information to contradict what was being taught. You see what I'm saying? I had not taken that step to knowledge of self. But I just remember sitting there like, yo, there's a map. You in Asia, you close to Africa. I can see Africa. You brushed over a corner of Africa and went on to some other stuff. And I'm saying, you see what I'm saying? And I'm just like, everybody in here almost in the class, like this classroom is 80% black. You're white, and you just told every one of us without saying it that we don't have no history whatsoever. That we just, you might as well just call us monkeys for real, if we being honest. And I was offended and upset, but I had nothing to contradict him with. So I just had to sit there and take it. Right. And then later on, and now that I'm talking about it, it probably in some way spurred me to this path because I was consciously frustrated and probably subconsciously outraged. But then maybe not even 2 years later, maybe a year later, year and a half later, whatever the case, I would start this journey. I would learn about Malcolm X and go from there. Sister Tila Nubia said, I never liked history in school, and now I know why. Yeah, because they make it so it's not relevant. And what's so deep is if we taught our children properly, things like math wouldn't seem as difficult because we would understand the origins of math coming from us and architecture and science and things like that. Things that don't seem relevant to our children because when they're giving you the history of stuff, because every subject they give you the history, when they give you the history of stuff, it don't seem relevant to you. It doesn't seem like it has anything to do with you. And that's the way they taught the history. Man, that history class, looking back on it, was complete garbage. You know what I'm saying? Complete garbage. A complete waste of time. I've taught more complete history in any three of my lectures than I got in 4 years of high school. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't get a heck of a lot better in college than I remember, But, and it's weird because history was a subject that I found interesting, but I found infinitely more interesting when I began to study on my own, as we called it then, as I began to gain knowledge of self. And of course, because the well is so deep and because you don't get, this is the thing, like literally after 30 years approximately, because I did take some time off, approximately 30 years of study, right? I can still pick up a book in my house and learn something. You understand? About the history of black people. After 30 years of study, I can go in this closet, pick up a book, open it up in the middle, and discover something about black people I never knew. Like half of the, I won't say half, but a significant segment of um the Chopping It Up presentation from yesterday, I learned in the last month. Literally. Like literally opened the book, read it. Whoa, what? Right? The whole section about the Negro Fort. Had no clue whatsoever. One person had heard of the Negro Fort there. And that's because he was in the military. You know what I'm saying? Had to take the military history. You see what I'm saying? He was the only person. Everybody was like, what? But that's the way I was. And then when I was able to find a video with a report on it, I was as shocked about that as I was about the whole event. You know what I'm saying? So that's something for those who want to know. That's something you can look up. Yeah, and it's plenty of information on the internet about it, but I had never heard about it. I got my initial information from a book that I bought actually from a library. It's a book they didn't want anymore. So anybody out there that wants to be a researcher and you want to really get extensive research on our history and stuff like that, there's a site called bookfinder.com where you can find rare books. Like I mean rare books. And a lot of times libraries that have books that they're no longer using or people aren't interested in, and they'll sell you. The thing about Bookfinder is if you can, the libraries will sell you the books for like a lot of times really low prices because they're not using them, so they just getting rid of them. Um, Now sometimes you got these rare book collectors and they will charge you through the. I mean, they will just rip your wallet out and take your pants with it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is just it's crazy. So you gotta really try to look around and try different sources and things like that. And Brother Elijah said it's interesting how you can learn more about your history outside the classroom than you do in it. Oh, absolutely. It's been like that for years, and I doubt very seriously it's changed very much. Never would have thought what, brother, you got ripped off. Um, so yeah, man. In fact, I still literally I have that book and another old book from like the 50s or something sitting here on my desk. And that book was actually, I believe that book was recommended by Dr. John Henry Clark. I was reading some of his and he mentioned it, and I went and got it. You know, Dr. Clark is so profound, man. He's so, oh man, when he said I only debate my equals, all others I teach, I literally started to make that my intro for my YouTube channel. That was gonna be part of the intro, but I thought it seemed too bombastic and braggadocious, so I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that," because I figured they would just invite people to just want to debate me. Like, oh man, you ain't nobody, you know. Oh, that I just got that information. Yeah, but here's the funny part about it though. Literally, the information just sitting in my house waiting for me to exhume it. You know what I'm saying? I've had this book for years. That's the thing. I've read part of the book, but I do not ever remember reading that page in the book until, like I said, about a month ago. And I looked and I was like, really? And then I looked up the information. It's like, bam, here it is. You know, the brother Negro Abraham, his information. Somebody did an extensive article on that. Unbelievable information, you know. Um, and so that was just some of the information that was put forth. And I may, because my editing skills still not up to par, but I may do a little after I actually look after I look at the footage and see what I got, see what it looked like, because I took mine from a different angle than Jeannie did. I may chop up maybe a 3 minute highlight video of that. I'm gonna see if I can get Jeannie to chop up a highlight video of, because I don't know what he got going on. We got the time to do it. Maybe a 3 minute highlight video of the convention and send it to me. And if he does that, I'll post that, and then I'll try to chop up. See if I can come up with a 3 good minutes of the Chopping It Up yesterday, and use that as a advertisement for the next Chopping It Up, which is going to be Monday, September 27th at 6 p.m. Doors open at 6. We probably start at 6:30, same thing. And of course, like I said before, that will include the Truth About COVID book. That's what we're going to be dealing with. So anybody that's interested in enjoying the conversation, you can get that book now, and so you can be ready for that discussion. And I'm trying to see what else in that presentation. Oh yeah. And I ended that presentation with these wonderful words. And they come from our grand master teacher, Dr. Chancellor Williams. And it says, of course, the necessary re-education of blacks and a possible end to racial crises can begin, strangely enough, only when blacks fully realize this central fact in their lives. The white man is their bitter enemy. For this is not the ranting of wild-eyed militancy, but the calm and unmistakable verdict of several thousand years of documented history. Dr. Chancellor Williams, from his book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, page 316. And that comes from the good book, Our Black Bible, The Destruction of Black Civilization. And brother, you got Rick also said which Dale Jones books we bruh. Dale Jones books, man, are like man, finding Dale Jones books are like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know what I'm saying? Go into a secret cave and give a password and go down a tunnel and get the book and exchange some of your blood. I mean, finding his books is crazy. I know I paid over $100 for one of his books before. And I'm trying to think, was it you? I remember somebody told me, maybe it was a brother in Dallas. Somebody told me they bought one of Dale Jones' books and they sent both editions or something. They sent like it's a part 1 and part 2, and they sent them both. And I was like, man, why was I that lucky? What in the world, man? You got ripped off. Says those stores that sell books they get from public libraries are hidden gems. I found a rare gold trim edition of Frederick Douglass' biography for $20 from some of the Urugus. Man, you got over. There used to be an old book, and I don't know if there's an old book. What they call it? I guess they call it a vintage bookstore. I guess that's a word. Over on Capitol Hill, where there's some Urugu on. I used to go in there sometime. Every now and then I find something relevant to black people. I haven't been over there in years, so I don't even know if it still exists. And Sister Tina Numi said you already finished the COVID book. Okay, cool. You're ahead of me then. So you're ahead of the game. That's cool. So let's see. It's 9:20. All right, I'm gonna go about 10 more minutes, and I'm gonna close this out. Also, I am going to re-upload the Organize or Die video or live stream, but I edited it and took the intro out. And okay, you said you paid $375 for volume 1, but they sent volume 3, but they refunded you the $375. Hey, man, Yeah, the days of me, the days of me spending over 100 for a book now, those days in the past. But I'm glad you got the refund, bro. It's true. Yeah, Dale Jones books is crazy, really. And I don't even remember seeing his books like that in the '90s when I was really, you know, really in that first stage of really buying a lot of books. Like I don't, I remember going to my mother's house and looking at some old stuff I had left there in her basement, and I still didn't have any of Dale Jones books. I guess I just never got them until the last 10 years or so, much to my chagrin. Because those things are difficult to find. But yeah. So anybody else, what thoughts or ideas? Anybody that saw the chopping it up. What did y'all think? Because I already know everybody enjoyed the convention, so I don't even have to ask. That goes without saying. And it was weird this year, the convention, because I swear we probably had as many people not from we might have had more people not from DC and PG County, the DMV, than we had from the DMV. And I'm just trying to figure out now, and y'all tell me, are we in a situation where people aren't used to coming out to events? I mean, because from what I see people outside doing all types of stuff. So it's just one of those things where people just want to get out and they just want to do quote unquote fun stuff, and they're really not trying to do any liberation work or excuse me, learning. Or what are y'all thoughts on that? What's really going on? Because it was interesting in that there were a lot of out of town people and not a lot of in town people. Um, rest you got ripped off. Rest you got ripped off said 30 videos before September. Yeah, we struggling with that. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I gotta get YouTube to stop taking down half the videos I put up. We gotta start with the basics out here. I can't put up if I put up 4 videos in a day and they take down 3 of them, does that still count or not? Y'all tell me. And they be having a good old time with my stuff, man. They just be like, yeah, this not really a copyright strike, but you can't post it. I'm like, what is that? What do you mean? I already have 1 copyright strike. You can only get 3, you know. So I'll see what they do with this one because it's the same intro. I forgot I had meant to change the intro, which would be the second time I changed the intro, but I paid somebody to clear the music. That's the part that's frustrating. Is I pay for this music. You know what I'm saying? I make these intros myself, but I pay for the music. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I pay for the beats. Anyway, don't even get me started on the whole YouTube thing. It just makes my head hurt because they have an algorithm. It's not a person. So the algorithm is like, man, you can't do that. And I'm like, bro, whatever. Sister says very informative discussion. Thank you, sister. Thank you. I thought I thought the discussion afterwards was outstanding. You got ripped off, had some outstanding questions. So yeah, it's looking real bad for that. Looking real bad for those 30 videos. But I'm gonna try to. In fact, when I get over here, after I go get something to eat, I'm gonna try to record a couple tonight for tomorrow, and I'm gonna re-upload that other one. So if you got the notifications on for your YouTube and you just start seeing different videos pop up, that's me trying to at least get to 15 or 16 because it's really 31 days in August. At least me trying to get to 16 videos in before September. Start with the basics and work our way up. You know what I'm saying? Brother, you got ripped off making me laugh. He mentioned that yesterday. I'm like, YouTube's killing me, man. Taking my stuff down. Every time I look up, they're like, hey, can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. I'm sure they flagged this one for the quote from Dr. Chancellor Williams. I should have went and taken and put that up on the screen, but it's kind of hard to do that. It would have been Actually, yeah, I could have did it if if I really want to. I had to go and get a second computer and do all that. So I didn't feel like going through the hassle. Hmm, Whatever. We'll see what they do. We'll see if by the time I wake up they take this one down, and I'll just edit it accordingly. That might be just my game plan from now on. You know, just as I make them, take them down, edit them. Nah, I'll wait till they do what they do and then go from there. You know, because as you all know, you can always find the stuff that they don't like here. You can find that on my OTW Tube account, and that is DC Radical One as well. And in fact, I might as well read that now. You can find me on Instagram at dc.radical1, on Twitter at dc underscore radical underscore ONE, which I really need to do a better job of using my Twitter. I am not on Twitter a lot at all anymore, because I'm not gonna be honest. I mean, I'm not. I'm gonna be honest. Excuse me. Twitter is a cesspool of negativity, the gender war, and black on black self hatred. And that's why I don't like going on there very often. And there's always some dispute or discussion, the diaspora wars, and man, it's just a land, it's just a digital insane asylum over there. But yeah, you can follow me on OTW Tube at DC Radical One. The Cash App is $ DC Radical One. And of course, this is YouTube, capital D, small c, Radical One. And the email is dc.radical underscore one at protonmail.com. So that is how you can contact me on the various social media. I'm on Instagram a lot, but not as much as people think by the number of messages I get. you know, and I do this YouTube thing occasionally. We're not preparing for big events. And Sister Tila Nubia says, just like YouTube. YouTube is kind of easier to avoid stuff, but yeah, there's a lot of gender war madness on YouTube as well. A lot of, I guess, because I don't follow a lot of what comes from the sisters that's negative. I see more of the stuff that comes from the brothers. And yeah, one of the things I see, I ain't gonna talk about this long, but people take the worst of our people and point it out just to talk bad about our people. But they don't have nothing bad to say about Urugu. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these people just finished talking about, again, talking about how um, adverse they are to daily bathing. You know, that's what the Europeans been talking about lately. Before the milk crate thing popped off, and I ain't see anybody making YouTube videos about that. In fact, I'm glad I said that. Brother, you got ripped off. Remind me to make a video about that, man. About all these Urugu talking about how much they don't pay. Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and get the whatever strike on that one. But you know, I tell the truth and shame Satan. you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't seen nobody make a video about it, so I'm gonna make a video about it. Why not? I mean, it's not me. I'm not making up lies. These people publicly admitted they don't take baths. In fact, I saw some doctor, and I wish I had saved the article. Some doctor talking about bathing every day is bad for you or something. I'm thinking to myself, it might be bad for you because you're Urugu, but it's not bad for me. I've been bathing at least once a day, sometimes twice, sometimes three times, depending on how hot it is, for decades. It hasn't hurt me in the least. So I know we're different, but I think hygiene is important for everybody that claims to be a human being, and anybody that disagrees with that probably emerged from the cave and should be sent back as soon as possible. So, with that, brothers and sisters, man, I thank you all for listening to this special edition of the Center Live here in the evening, in the middle of the week. I think, and I got a lot of things up in the air right now, to be completely honest, but I am going to try to at least do a couple of live streams during the week. and I'll let you all know when that happens. Because, like I said, I got a couple of things up in the air right now as far as my schedule and things like that. So I should know what's going on probably um, in hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Hopefully. And well, since the telenubia say reverting back to the natural state, yeah, apparently, they've been trying to. They're just tired of lying about it. They like, nah, that's who he is. And brother, you got ripped off. Said, seen a TikTok where Yuru, uh, cave female, saying that she, not even, goodness. I'm not even surprised, but I mean that's just savage. And I don't mean savage in the way that young people say savage. I mean savage as an uncivilized and barbaric. That's man, that you talk about disgusting. And then our people be running to. I mean, they be running to dive into the cave with this barbarity, man. Like, can you imagine? Just real quick before you go. Hey, like, can you imagine? You grew up in a black household, and you sit around and lay up with this person, and then you get up and you walk in their bathroom, and they don't have no washcloths. And you're like, oh, they may be in the closet, like, hey, where your washcloths? And you ask them, and they like, what's a washcloth? And you like, yo, what are you talking about right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all remember that when what I'm saying, Urugu was like, they ain't know what washcloths was. That was a whole controversy. He's just like, if you don't use washcloths, that was a key. That was a clue right there about the hygiene thing and the bathing and whatnot. Because they ain't even heard of washcloths. I'm like, well, who's manufacturing these things? You know, I know the cotton comes from Egypt. They always talk about Egyptian cotton, but who's making them? So you got Egyptian cotton and it's made in China, and y'all ain't never heard of washcloth. So obviously, we already know right now that black people invented that. We ain't gotta ask because they not even they not even. Oh man. And Sister Shaniqua said that's why they have to shave. Hey, don't quick story, and y'all extending the live stream with this stuff. This is God's honest truth. Um, it's been a few years ago now. I was in the gym and walking to the gym, locker room, whatever, and you got the showers connected to it, and it was late, but this wasn't on this wasn't on my side of town. This was on the other side of town, and I walked in there and this Yuru had his shirt off. And he had his shirt off, but it looked like he had a sweater on. That's how hairy this dude was. It was crazy. I just and I was standing there like, what the? And he looked up and looked at me like, what are you looking at? And I was like, I like, never mind. And I just walked back out. I couldn't believe it. I never seen nobody that hairy. It was unreal. He looked like, you know, I forgot what it's some type of medical condition where people have hair all over them and their face and everything basically look like werewolf. He looked like that, except without the hair on his face. It was crazy, man. So just being completely honest, we're very much different from these people in a lot of ways, and it is what it is, you know. So, brother, you got ripped off. He's already dipped out. BB4 to you, brother, you got ripped off. So I'm going to end this here before I get my whole channel taken down, talking about Urugu, even though we teaching the truth. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you have not subscribed. Again, I am your brother DC Radical One. I thank everyone who came out to this weekend's convention, if I can get it out. I thank everyone who watched via the live stream. I thank everyone who came out to the Chopping It Up, including my brother, you got ripped off. I thank everybody that watched the live stream of the Chopping It Up. And I thank you all for your support of this live stream and your support at SBPM and myself personally. With that, I say a BB for Hodie, and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_one. And the Cash App is $DC Radical, the number 1. Thank you again.